just want to take the time and say thank you so much for helping me grow above 1,000 subscribers last year. We actually ended the year on 1,600 subscribers, and I can't appreciate you guys enough. Social Blade does say we could hit 20,000 by the end of 2022, but I'd be over the moon even if we reached 10k. So let's all make it happen. But since my last setup tour hit 100,000 views, I thought I'd give you guys another tour of the setup I helped my brother create to start 2022 off with a bang. Now this is another room, so I don't want to see any comments saying, oh, he's just recycling his old setup. But essentially this workspace was designed to improve my brother's productivity and focus on his accountancy career. The older setup he was working on was very cluttered, and with minimal space on the actual desk it made it harder to focus. This new setup will make sure that's a problem of the past. He has enough room to open the large study books and keep it neat and organized with the Alex drawers. But before we look into anything else, we need to take a look at the centerpiece of the whole setup, the standing desk frame. After I got my standing desk in September, I found that my productivity did increase a little more. During the fatigue periods while working, I stand up for around 30 to 40 minutes, and this kind of helps realign my focus for work. So I decided to collaborate with the guys from FlexiSport. They did give me this standing desk for free, just to get my genuine views on it. I'm not getting paid to say anything, but I do love how silent the single motor of the desk actually is. The maximum height for the standing desk is 121 centimeters, with a total weight the motor can handle being 70 kgs. I got my brother's one in black, and I think it looks so much better. What do you guys think? My white frame or my brother's black frame? But I have to admit, I really love the touchscreen keypad the frame came with. It has 4 programmable modes, which I set to one of them being the standing height, sitting height, and the sleep mode height. The controller also has a child lock, so it could prevent any accidents, but no setup can be complete without its tabletop. My brother really liked the look and durability of the countertop on my setup, so we decided to get the same one for him in the exact same size, which is 186 cm by 63.5 cm. This is made out of particle board and is much stronger than the cheaper Lindman honeycomb stuff. But just bear in mind, this thing is heavy, so do have an extra person with you if you plan on building the same setup. But since we're on the topic of IKEA, might as well talk about the Alex drawers. So we also decided to get the IKEA Alex drawers to hold all the loose stuff and improve his organization within the workspace. My brother does study accounting and he has to read these chunky textbooks, so having a place to store them when he's done came in clutch for keeping the desk tidy. I've also let him have my old drawer organizer insert. I think it's called the Sumera from IKEA, but essentially this will help him keep his pens and dongles all in one place. But I'm sure you've seen this drawer everywhere by now. So let's swiftly move on to the main station of the entire setup. Being a fairly budget workspace, we were looking for a budget 144Hz ultrawide monitor. Luckily we came across the Iyama G-Master GB3466WQ-SU. Yes, I know, a pretty long name, but this is one amazing monitor. My first impressions of this monitor were appreciating how slim the bezels look and the nice 1500R curved viewing angle. It's an amazing buy for this setup. The ports are quite flexible with 2 HDMI ports, 2 display ports, a 3.5mm jack, 1 USB upstream connector, and 2 5GB per second USB Type-A ports. And immediately to the right of it all, we have a joystick controller for the menu screen. There aren't any additional buttons to preset any settings, just one joystick. I prefer my monitors to be anti-glare, so we made sure whatever we purchased for this setup also had an anti-glare screen too. But now on to how this panel actually performs. Off the bat, I did realize this monitor isn't crazy bright, but it is enough for the average user. Out the box, the settings uncalibrated provide amazing colors and they tend to be quite accurate. I found many blogs to also agree with me on this, so I knew it wasn't just my monitor. However, I still need to learn more about monitor panels and the color gamut stuff to give you guys better reviews in the future. But for £450, this 144Hz ultrawide 34-inch monitor is perfect for my brother's use case. The monitor did come with this cool looking stand, but it did take up way too much space on the desk, so we decided to mount it on an arm. This monitor arm has been discontinued, but I've left a better one from Amazon linked below. The monitor arm is a gas spring arm with the option to adjust the tension, so you could mount heavier or lighter monitors and still be able to adjust viewing angles easily. Cable management on the arm again is quite flimsy, The extremely tight wire holders make it very hard to remove wires or put thicker wires in place. The clip that hides wires as it goes up the arm is also again very cheap and falls off with minimal tugging. Once it's all set in, you definitely not want to be pulling on the monitor too much or it'll fall out. But enough of the bad stuff. Being a fairly cheap arm, it can tilt up and down, rotate and swivel from left to right. The monitor is clipped into the mount itself using this mounting piece. While I personally think this mounting style is very unsafe, it's done a great job so far, but I definitely find it annoying looking at the give it has once you set the monitor in place. If you type too fast, you'd probably notice the shake on the monitor as it is clamped to the desk. But all in all, this does look like a really nice monitor arm and serves its purpose. Once it's set up, you probably won't have an issue with it again. But you might be wondering, what system am I using to power this setup? And that is the base M1 Mac Mini with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. While we have no intentions of using heavy apps or trying to run games, the new M1 chip has truly leveled up the internals for Mac users, and being my brother's first Apple device, he's loving it. The Mac Mini is still the same block of aluminium, but the major change is under the hood. But before we discuss the internals, the Mac Mini has an Ethernet port, 2 Thunderbolt ports, 2 Type A ports, a 3.5mm jack, and a cutout for the fans. But I must admit, I do wish we had more Type A ports, but this soon shouldn't be a problem when the Satoshi dock arrives. Now onto the chip, a 3.2 GHz processor with 16 billion transistors squeezed onto its silicon. Now I barely even understood that, but essentially it combines processing and graphics onto the same system on the chip. It can be slightly confusing for the average consumer, but I'll make a full review on the Mac Mini very soon. However, this PC makes for a really powerful workhorse at home. My brother uses it for a lot of researching, watching 4K content, filling up Excel sheets, and the occasional content creation. Having all these apps open, we never realized any lag or performance drops. On this setup, we went with the Iqunix F96 Jungle Mystery keyboard with cherry pink switches. And before we go any further, just listen to this. I really love these Cherry MX Silent Pink switches. This is a 96% keyboard, which means it includes the number pad. While I hate keyboards with number pads, my brother being a practicing accountant, I guess they deal with those all day. The F96 could be used wirelessly and wired. It's wired most of the time. Being connected via Type-C is also quite cool. For $20 more, we also wanted to include RGB LED backlighting. With the configuration we went for, the keyboard did total $259. While it's very expensive compared to others out there, the quality of this thing is amazing. It's quite heavy, which means it's good quality, right? But realistically, I don't see this keyboard leaving the desk or being something you plan on taking to the library. The F96 also has a fixed 6-degree angle. Iqunix think this is the golden ratio angle, but I still would have preferred adjustable slope heights. But I must admit, the battery life on this keyboard is quite good. 30 hours of battery life, which probably equates to around 3 to 4 weeks of use before it needs a recharge. To sum up the board, I really do love the color scheme and somehow it works so well with the setup and acts as a nice feature piece to the workspace. My brother decided to go with the MX Master Original. I still think till this day this mouse is amazing. It has all the buttons and scrollers the MX Master 3 does. The design is a little older and feels a little cheaper compared to the MX Master 3, but for £30 you definitely won't find anything better. The best feature hands down has to be the cool infinity scroll. My brother has to scroll through Excel sheets and a ton of data. This mouse makes it a breeze to go through. To add to it all, the battery life on this mouse is amazing. It lasts for literal months without blinking for a recharge. I don't need to discuss the MX Master mouse collection, just get one for yourself. But this is all neatly organized on my Grovemade merino wool felt desk mat. I recently purchased this desk mat and wanted to use it on my setup. But seeing my brother upgrading, I thought I'd throw them out onto his workspace, which just adds an extra cozy vibe. Merino wool desk mats feel and look amazing. It can be slightly rough to the touch, but it certainly doesn't stop the mouse from gliding around easily. It also adds a really nice contrast between the desk and the peripherals. One thing that does annoy me though is the fact that it slides around very easily, but other than that, it's a really cool piece to have on the desk. To add to it all, I threw my old Carpio 1.0 which acts as his palm rest. The glide is definitely nice on the felt desk pad. but I still think you should get the 2.0 version since they are designed a little better. But productivity being the sole focus of this setup, we decided it would be a good idea to add this cool looking Pomodoro timer from Amazon. This thing got a lot of questions on my Instagram. By the way, don't forget to follow me on Instagram for all the behind the scenes and other content I upload. But essentially, this helps my brother set the amount of time he wants to focus for on a specific task or a study session. I have to say though, it does feel really cheap. For £11, I don't expect much. At least the design is quite cool and serves its purpose very well. My brother also liked this piece I had on my workspace, so my friends over at BenQ hooked me up with another light, so a huge thank you to them. Essentially, this light helps you reduce eye strain from monitor usage. It can be temperature controlled, and the best feature yet, it auto adjusts to the lighting in your workspace to give you an accurate brightness and temperature on the screen bar. The bar itself clips into the mount, which then can be mounted on top of your monitor easily. The controller is just perfectly designed. I love the satisfying smooth dial and how minimal it looks. To bring the whole workspace together, we put this fake plant on the desk. I think it adds a nice natural vibe to the space, and being a gift from my mother, it makes it a really sentimental piece to have on the setup. And that's my brother's 2022 workspace. I really hope you guys could hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. I'm really trying to hit the 10,000 subscriber goal this year. Also, if you really want to see what I get up to when I'm not posting, go follow me on Instagram. Till then, I'm out.